Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk. Today we're geeking out about cartoons. I'm here with Magnus Deacon.
Hello.
Mitch the Ripper.
Good evening.
And Pickrus Burton from Twitch. Hey.
Hi. How's it going, everybody?
Boy, you're high. Well, I wish I was. My dad go fuck a lot easier.
You know, I'm upset at myself now.
Why's that?
Yeah, I could have introduced myself by saying, and I'll form the head.
You're looking at all the gifts going across.
Yeah, I fucking dropped the ball on that one. That should be shot.
I'm saving the one I was going to use for my intro. I'm saving that to really trip people up.
From war propaganda cartoons to shorts before movies and good old-fashioned Saturday morning cartoons, most of us in this panel have grown up with classical cartoons. We're talking Looney Tunes, Silly Symphonies, even Voltron and Super Friends. And
Maddie,
yeah.
Maddie, if you've never seen Voltron Hellbent for Leather, you're missing out.
I have never seen that. I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, I mean, through the years, we've all seen our ton of cartoons, haven't we?
Oh yes.
Yeah, well, I'm a '90s kid. So I grew up with a lot of stuff on rerun.
Well, at least you caught some of it.
Yeah.
But see, for some odd,
go ahead.
For some odd reason, I grew up in an area where I got to see like some of the really old cartoons. I remember watching Little Rascals like incessantly.
Oh yeah. I remember rushing home from elementary school so I can catch Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh God.
When I was a kid, Rocky and Bullwinkle was on Nick at Night. It was the last show before they went. It was the last show on Nickelodeon before they went to Nick at Night.
Well, but here's the part that'll trip you up and see if anybody actually recognizes this. It wasn't that difficult or a stretch for me to be tying a red towel around my neck, putting on a yellow T-shirt, and jumping out of the hay loft into a hay pile while screaming, "Here I come to save the day!"
Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse.
The inspiration for this stream was I watched a Saberspark video on where the origin of the somebody touching my spaghetti meme came from, and it turned out that it was a Terry Toons cartoon. Terry Toons is what made Mighty Mouse, which is what led me to tonight's topic. Yes, I grew up with Mighty Mouse. Here I come to save the day.
Well, and you notice most of the cartoons that are panned as being racist as fuck, they're mostly Tex Avery cartoons.
Yes, they are. The Tex Avery, the whatchamacallit, the wolf.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that whistles that song. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head, but I read the lyrics and I'm like, holy shit, that's racist.
Then there was Underdog. It's just little old me. Underdog. We grew up with some really good cartoons. I remember, let me see, from my childhood, I remember not only Super Friends, but that, what else did I watch on Saturday? Voltron, the old original Spider-Man from the 80s, Brave Star. Thank you, Mad Metal Man. I remember Brave Star. He-Man and
Thundar
She-Ra.
the Barbarian.
Thundar the Barbarian. Thundercats. Yes.
And his faithful companion Ookla the Mock.
Yes. Never forget Ookla. Yes, never forget Ookla.
And Princess Ariel.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Chitara was the one that originally turned a bunch of furries into the mouth breathing.
Oh, no kidding. Well, she was the Thundercats hoe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thundercats hoe. I always wondered why Lionel said that.
Yeah.
What he was
it was a booty call.
Yep. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which had some good moments and some cringe moments.
Here's the thing. You cannot bring up the Rankin and Bass Thundercats without mentioning the other two.
Yeah.
Silverhawks.
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 Oh wait, hold on. Don't say it. I know it's coming. Farting fish. No.
Tiger sharks.
Tiger sharks.
Okay, who do we have in our live chat? We've got a Thrax, we have a Poffit, we have a Mad Metal Man, we have a Hellbound Iscariot. I saw her. Hey, Hellbound, I hope you're doing all right. Saw that you got the ultrasound on your thyroid. Hope everything worked out okay. And a Diz. We have a Diz. Oh, it does. I mean, it's just, I grew up with those kinds, and then, you know, even as a kid, there were some cartoons I couldn't sit through. The Mr. T cartoon was one.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. T, I've seen...
That one was horribly cringy.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen clips of the Mr. T cartoon, and it is horribly cringy.
Oh, God.
Well, I got to thank all of you for bringing that up, because now I remember a bit of it, and I've been trying, it turns out, my entire life I've been trying not to remember it at all. Thank you for putting that back in the forefront of my consciousness.
See, Mitch, I do have to ask, do you remember Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines?
Oh, my God, Bigfoot.
Oh, God, I do. See, you did it again. Now, see, here's the funny part, though.
I've never heard of Bigfoot.
Oh my God! And
I've never heard of that.
There was Godzilla with Godzuki. Godzilla was
God
Godzuki.
Damn it!
Poffit says mask. Poffit says mask. There's also Transformers and GoBots. Transformers was much better.
Man, I didn't shit in your mashed potatoes.
Well, to be fair, if it involved transforming robots, you could about guarantee I was there.
Yeah, there was Voltron, then there was Tranzor Z, which was a knockoff of Voltron. I remember that. One in particular that only the older people would probably remember in the live chat and on the panel, Star Blazers.
Oh, yeah.
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 Oh, you are missing a classic anime.
That one had the best frickin' theme music.
Yes, it did.
It really did. That song was fantastic.
I think I've only seen one episode of Star Blazers, but what a classic anime.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
They even have a movie.
Classic.
Yes.
Heading off to Iskandar, we will never get that far. We don't even have a car. Oh fuck it, let's get away from Iskandar.
Well, let's take a moment to remember though that there were quite a lot of anime shows they snuck into our lineups that I didn't even know were anime until I got older. Like one
Battle of the Planets.
Battle of the Planets. Hell, fuck yes.
Speed Racer.
I tried to go back as an adult to watch Battle of the Planets, and I couldn't sit through 5 minutes of it. Oh my God!
No, it's so bad.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
But the music was great.
I found out that they actually had remade it back in the 90s, and I watched it, but it was going under its original name of Gatchaman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have Diz going, the Great American Hero, G.I. Joe.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Which spawned that Now I Know, and knowing is half the battle.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well,
who wants a body massage?
Right?
Sure, we've all seen those. Those, where they overdubbed all the dialogue for the, the PSA at the end of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, Ronin Warriors. Let us not forget Ronin Warriors. I grew up with those.
Speed Racer.
Speed Racer. Oh, I can't go back and watch that.
Oh, he was a demon on wheels, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, if we're gonna talk about interesting cartoon-related things, there was this CD that came out about
Saturday Morning Cartoons Greatest Hits.
Yes, that CD. That was my favorite CD when I was a kid, man. Okay, that was my favorite album when I was a kid.
I am going to put this question to you. What show did you absolutely love as a kid that you cannot sit through and rewatch now?
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
What show that I loved as a what show did I love as a kid that I can't sit through anymore?
Just absolutely make
God, that's a hard one.
Well, this is gonna go from the 90s, when I was a kid, to the 90s. I'd have to say probably Rugrats.
I got you.
I got it. Tranime.
Hey, I made it.
Yes.
Groovy.
But I got here.
I got the one.
I wasn't sure it was cool I show up late.
It's fine. It's a chill stream, pretty much. It is really.
I can't believe I had trouble figuring out that question, Maddie, because we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
The one I cannot stand, and this one in particular, it really stands out, is the first iteration of the Super Friends.
Oh yeah.
And the reason is because
back
of...
at the Hall of Justice, Aquaman.
Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice.
Yep.
See, that's not even the part that kills me.
That's one of
The
the
part
gifts
that
I've got
kills me-
circled.
Meanwhile, back.
Oh, it makes me so mad watching it now.
Oh,
The
God,
part
it
that
does,
kills
doesn't
me
it?
is early on in
How
that
about
series.
How about the fact that Casey Kasem did the voice of Robin?
Oh.
That doesn't help anything.
No, it doesn't.
No, it
No,
doesn't.
the worst part early on in that show, before the Wonder Twins, we had Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
Yes.
And here's what pissed me off. You've got Superman, you've got Batman and Robin, you've got Wonder Woman, you've got the Green Lantern, you've got Aquaman, you've got all these, just class A superheroes, right?
And then you got these.
They could not do a goddamn thing to stop an evil plot. So Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog had to come in and talk the villain down.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh my God, that was
It was so damn stupid.
It was.
Villain therapy.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my
It's
God.
like, what's
no.
the point of having?
And
What's the point of having a utility belt?
And let us not
If you have
forget.
to rely on a couple of dorky ass teenagers who have the temerity to dress up their dog. I mean, for Christ's sake.
What
But
anime?
assholes.
What
How
anime
about,
did you love as a little girl that you cannot sit through now?
Anime? I hadn't actually heard of
Well,
back
cartoons.
then. But
Either Saturday morning cartoons or anime.
Gem and the Hologram.
Oh God, yes, I remember watching that.
I-
As a kid.
Oh my God! They sandwiched that motherfucker right in between the
Was Jem-
humanoids and
was she
Bigfoot
truly-
and the muscle
truly-
machines.
Yes,
Truly outrageous.
yes.
she was. I still go back and watch a few minutes of it now and then for nostalgia, but one song and that's it. I'm gonna puke.
You can't sit
Yeah.
through it, yeah.
Well, the worst part about it is before that. I don't know if he still does it, but anybody who's played League of Legends knows that Tarek's joke, Tarek the Gym Knight, his joke is he goes, Gems are truly outrageous.
Yes, he does.
They are truly outrageous.
Yes. Now,
Didn't they recently make a movie out of that?
Yeah, and it was terrible. It was terrible.
I bet it was a bigger failure than Amy Schumer's sex life.
Oh my God. Okay, there's a cartoon that is ringing through my. I can't remember if it was a cartoon or a live action, but it was the first time they tried to make technology to where the toys you had could interact with the show you were watching on the screen.
Captain Power?
Captain Power.
That's it. I knew somebody here.
I had that fucking toy and it didn't work. Shit.
Well, yeah, but really, when you watch the show, it was like Captain Power and the epilepsy-inducing body armor, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Captain Power and the epilepsy-inducing body armor.
Oh my God.
Because they'd have a panel on the characters on the show that would flash that were supposed to interact with your with your Captain Power ray gun.
Yep. Hellbound has mentioned Astro Boy, and Metal Man has mentioned Sky Commanders.
Wait a second. I think it was Captain Photon.
Actually, just to interject here, the Astro Boy movie they made a few years back was actually pretty darn good.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Did anyone bring up Josie and the Pussycats yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, God.
The whole Hanna-Barbera era. Oh.
Because I hate to bring this up, but most of the characters that I saw of Hanna-Barbera's were all guest stars on Scooby-Doo.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh God.
Everyone's a guest star in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I'm on there somewhere.
They had fucking Batman and Robin.
They did.
Again, Batman is supposed to be like the Sherlock Holmes level detective, but you still needed the Scooby Gang to pull the mask off of old Mr. Hodgkins from the amusement park.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah. And then you had, let me see, there was Jabberjaw. Let us not forget Jabberjaw. Speed
Captain
Buggy.
Caveman.
Speed Buggy, Captain Caveman. Yep, Captain Caveman. Oh my God.
Oh, his yell is still funny though.
I saw a guy on the internet who turned a dune buggy made a dune buggy look like Speed Buggy.
Oh my God.
Oh, right on.
Here's the thing though. You guys have got to remember one thing though. And shit, I forgot what I was about to say. That was it. It was the Batman on Scooby Doo was supposed to be like a knockoff of the one from the '60s, and also a little bit of trivia. You guys do know that Captain Caveman was originally voiced by Mel Blanc, right?
No, I did not know that. Holy
Captain
shit.
Caveman was one of Mel Blanc's characters. Here's the thing: Mel Blanc did a lot of cartoon characters.
Yes.
All the way up until he died. That it's like, really, that was Mel Blanc? Really?
Uh-huh. Oh, it's like when he did Bugs Bunny. I don't know if any of the young kids in the live chat or he hated carrots. They tried to find an alternative sound effect to use to sound like a chewing carrot. What?
Maddie, I hate to tell you this. It wasn't that he hated carrots. He was allergic to carrots.
Oh, yeah, he was allergic to carrots. And they couldn't find anything to make that sound.
And did you know that he once lapsed into a coma and they couldn't get him out of the coma?
Oh,
and they started asking him questions as the character he portrayed, and that's what got him out of the coma.
Oh, wow. Let's see, Prophet mentioned another cringe-inducing cartoon, Fonz and the Happy Days Gang.
Oh, for fucking
for fuck's sake!
Yeah, you want a cringe-worthy cartoon, The Brady Kids.
I never saw that one. I
got worse. I've got one far fucking worse. Laverne and Shirley cartoon.
Oh God!
Oh yeah!
Oh, they tried so hard.
How about the Dukes cartoon? The Dukes of Hazzard cartoon.
That one actually wasn't too horrible, but if you watched it now, you probably would cringe.
Oh yeah, and then let's see.
I might open a vein.
The Real Ghostbusters.
That was my favorite. The Real Ghostbusters. That was my favorite.
I just hated that they only had 4 seasons of that, and I never realized it until I finally got my own copy of it.
Yeah.
Because that is a cartoon that you can actually go back and watch, like, repeatedly. And here's another bit of trivia. The reason why Frank Welker is such a fucking god amongst voice actors, you got to rattle off his resume. He was Megatron and Soundwave in Transformers, at the very least.
Yeah.
There was more than that. Then you wait.
Sorry.
Then you also he was Ray and Slimer in the Real Ghostbusters.
I've got something that has confused me since the 70s. There was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon called The New Shmoo. But nobody'd ever heard of the old Shmoo. There was never an old Shmoo. There was just a new Shmoo.
Yeah.
I think the old Shmoo was something I stepped in and had to remove from the sole of my shoe with a stick.
Oh dear, I got some Shmoo on my shoe.
Oh, Brave Star. Yin Wolf has mentioned Brave Star, so we already covered Brave Star.
One time I got sick. I was coughing up Shmoo for a week.
You gotta show some respect when 30-30 whoops out Mary Jane. Now, come on.
Yeah. Oh, Tom and Jerry, the original. Yeah, Tom and Jerry.
They ruined.
I don't even want to talk about the Shmoo I encountered after reaching puberty.
Well, we've got Mitch stuck in one groove here.
Oh, the Rambo cartoon. Yep. Definitely.
Oh God.
Yes.
Do you remember Goober and the Ghost Chasers?
No, I don't.
It was this. Basically, the usual team of kids who go around solving crimes with a dog. But this dog wore a fucking Rasta hat and could turn invisible, apart from his collar.
God.
Well, and let's not forget, the reason that the Real Ghostbusters was called Real Ghostbusters is because they did a knockoff cartoon of that old ass, like that TV show, The Ghostbusters. Right. That was like 2 guys and a gorilla, and that's why they had to call it The Real Ghostbusters.
Hey, baby, I have my hubby in the live chat. He's listening.
Nice.
Anybody remember this? What?
The other reason was if you watched the first episode, the Real Ghostbusters actually went to see the Ghostbusters movie and walked out because they thought it was shite.
Now, the original Scooby-Doo, I loved. When they introduced Scrappy, they fucked it up.
Oh, God, yeah.
Anybody remember the Groovy Ghoulies?
No.
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Hell, fuck yeah. The Groovy Ghoulies, man.
Can you remember? What was it? Funky Phantom.
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Funky Phantom, I vaguely remember.
Yeah, we found a
But
friend.
I don't know why, but it makes me think of Space Ghost.
How
The
about
Spirit of
Space
1776.
Ghost.
how about the gummy bears?
Oh God, the
No.
gummy bears and this. And
I used to have to sing that when it
Fat
came on.
Albert.
I
Fat
had to.
Albert.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey!
You do realise that
We're
Scotty
gonna
did
sing a song for you.
Mm.
Bill gonna tell you a thing or two.
And right before they started the show, he goes, "And if you listen, you just might learn something."
Gonna have
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
But so I'm sure
We'll have a fun now with me and all the gang. Learning from each other while we do our thing.
Yep.
Oh God, I'm gonna be
No,
stuck.
gonna have a good time.
Hey, hey, hey.
Singing.
Yes, no kidding.
Oh,
me-
Well, let's not forget. The bad thing is how many people can rattle off. And I do this just to screw with people all the time.
Mm.
Well, not all the time anymore, but I used to. How many people can still rattle off the whole thing from like Silverhawks or even Thundercats that Mum-Ra or Monstar did
okay.
to turn
I
into their
can't.
power forms?
Oh, spirits of ancient evil, turn this decayed and disgusted form into Mum-Ra the ever living.
I can't remember the other one though. God, it's been so long since I've watched
Oh,
Silverhawks.
Star of Limbo, give me the might, the muscle, the menace of Monstar!
It sounds like a fucking.
I think there was one that said. See if anyone remembers this one,
Okay.
where some villain in a show
Mhm.
was like, "Let me monologue long enough for the hero to come kick my ass."
That was pretty much all the superhero shows.
I think so.
Oh God, yeah, that was everybody.
Oh my God! But I think it was like during the same time you had Thundercats and Silver Fox in their heyday. You did have the Rambo cartoon because that was in the time where you had to signify when you were going to be down to business, and that was when Rambo tied the thing around his head and knotted it. That was about the kick.
Oh, Hambone, as we used to call him.
Oh my God!
Somebody in the
see
chat
that-
mentioned the Charlie Chan and the Chan clan. The Amazing Chan and the Chan
Oh
clan.
yeah, and Hong Kong
Kong
Fooey.
Fooey, number one super guy.
Super guy.
Oh my God.
Kong Fu.
You know, the biggest
Look at that
biggest
human
problem.
eye.
The biggest problem I had though was, like I said, they had the Silverhawks and the Thundercats, which were standalone cartoons.
Yeah.
Tiger Sharks wasn't that bad, but for some reason they decided to throw it in with a mix of cartoons like Camp Minimon, Street Frogs,
Yeah.
Karate Cat, and like.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, Pop.
See, I tried to. I actually tried to. I submitted a script back in those days for a cartoon series.
Oh, we got Poffit with
But,
the back of the Killer Tomatoes.
But apparently no one wanted to do a cartoon called Assholes from Outer Space.
Yeah, mate.
Exactly.
If you sent it to Fox.
Yeah, Fox might have done it, but this was
What is that,
before Fox
Traname?
was a thing.
Which cartoon was it where the character was a shark and you'd always say Jawsome?
I think that was-
Jabberjaw.
Jabberjaw.
Yeah,
Jabberjaw.
What? No,
Jabberjaw.
actually, no. Wait, hang on. Wasn't
No.
that
No.
Street
Street
Sharks?
Sharks?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Street
because
Sharks.
it was
baby.
either tied
Okay.
with it or right before or after Eek the Cat.
All right, before we continue, we have a couple of additions. We have a Batman in the chat,
That's me.
a
Hi,
Traname,
Batman. Hi.
and my hubby Ronan Wolf.
Hello.
Well, hello.
Or as I like to call him,
I
Hatman.
forgot to say, hi, Chanaman. How are
See,
you?
Ronan said that like he's Dr. Smooth. Hello.
Hello. Oh, the Cubert cartoon. Oh, and the Pac-Man cartoon. Let us not forget the
Oh,
Oh God! Now here we go. We're gonna get the Smurfs and the fucking knockoff Smurfs, the Snorks,
Oh God, the
What
snorks.
about that kid?
Oh,
Whenever
my
he saw
Lord.
and then the
Whatever
knockoff
you
of the
answer,
knockoff.
just got
Thankfully,
me.
not appearing in this episode.
What about that one about the kids who, whenever he saw a moon or just a picture of the moon, he turned into a
Oh.
fang face?
Fang face.
Fang
Yeah.
face. Oh, yeah. Oh my God, Biker Mice from Mars. Callie needs to be here for that one because she's
When he turned into werewolf, he was smarter.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, don't
All right,
touch my
I've got-
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I grew up on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Let's just not talk about Captain Planet because mullet. Oh, thanks, Ian Wolf. Thanks a lot.
Captain Planet.
Oh, you mean Captain Planet and the soon-to-be SPWs?
Yeah.
No,
All our
Captain
powers
Planet.
combined
I'm sorry.
to form
He's
Captain
gonna take
Planet.
his solution
I'm sorry, but
down.
Captain Planet was really Captain Asshole.
Let's not forget that Don Cheadle played a live-action version of Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Hey, that's his
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, like Ian Wolf has said. What about Count Duckula?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then there
Yeah.
was, I am the bump in the night.
Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck.
Oh, Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
Right, you're not trying to be mentioned Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah.
I've got to admit, in the 70s, I mean, I was quite young, so I kind of had a crush on the drummer. Maybe
Of
because
course you did.
Tambourine,
I know there's nothing I like better than an animated blowjob. You can think that any way you like.
Hey, Mitch, you've told me more than once that you really fancy Betty Rubble.
Oh, Danger Mouse is another one. Oh, they're coming up
Oh,
with all
yeah,
of them in the
Danger
chat.
Mouse.
But the only reason I fancy Betty Rubble is because I resemble Barney.
Who
there you go.
who was that cartoon baby that had like that robot he built of blocks?
I don't
Oh,
remember.
God.
Oh my God.
I know the character's name is Max, but I don't remember the cartoon.
I got.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now you're
God.
getting into territory where it's like, oh God, what was that called again?
Yes.
Oh, that's
exactly.
Max the Forgotten Character.
But,
Oh, God.
but he always went to
Here's-
space.
Well,
Tail.
here's the bad part about it
What?
is I'm sitting here thinking about. So I think Tranime Girl was the one that said it. I don't remember. Like a teenager who turned into a dune buggy.
Oh God.
something.
Oh,
Oh my
that
God, I
one.
know that one, and I can't remember the
Hot
name of it.
Rod.
Yeah.
Or something.
Here's the, there was a different cartoon where he turned into his like Camaro called Turbo Teen. For those who've never
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Didn't he?
I remember
didn't he
that.
transform? Didn't he transform whenever he got wet or something?
Fantastic
Hot.
Max.
What?
Hot.
Yeah.
Yin Wolf.
Fantastic
Yeah.
Max.
Thank you, Yin Wolf.
Yeah, that was the thing.
What about
When he got
that one?
he got overheated, he would turn into a car.
Oh God, yeah.
What about that one? About it was basically a Hanna-Barbera rip-off. I Dream of Genie, just called Genie.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
if that
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, Chip and
If-
Dale's Rescue Rangers and Tailspin.
Chip and Dale.
if that one
Those
dude,
were all right. Those were all right.
If-
Here's
Now,
a
if-
good one. Here's a good one. I'm about
Oh.
to probably trigger Magnus here. Mask.
Mobile
Oh,
Armored
wow,
Strike
wow.
Command.
Yes.
No, why would that trigger me? Because one of my favorite toys ever was the Rhino. Come on.
Oh,
What-
let's
what
not
about-
forget the Exo Squad. They had the Exo
What about
Squad.
Return to the Planet of the Apes?
The switchblade was cool. A helicopter that transformed
Oh, yeah.
into a jet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of those shows that had like a secret group, like Mask, for example,
Yeah.
those were
Mhm.
generally pretty good shows, except that they always had some fucking kid interfering in everything.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Every time you interject a fucking kid
What was
into
the
your
name of the-
superhero team, shit just gets stupid.
Yeah.
One thing I
What,
hated
what was
about,
the name of the group? What was the name of the group and everything? The guys that always carried around all of the holograms on their chest plates and on banners and shit like that.
The Centurions.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
one thing I hated about most of these cartoons, even the ones I liked, was there was always some annoying character put in there just for cute's sake.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like on Battle of the Planets, they had to splice in an entirely different character from an entirely different show, and they called him Seven Zark 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
that was the monkey thing, wasn't it?
No, that was
a robot.
that was the R2D2 knockoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only one that actually worked was Snarf in Thundercats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well, see, they always had to throw in that one kid appeal character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
it
annoying.
was always a fucking crapshoot as to whether or not you loved that character, or you wanted to put a push mower on their face and just rock it back and forth.
Yeah.
Snarf.
mentioned one that I've never heard of: Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light.
Yeah. I think those are the ones with the holographic chest plate.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because they had action figures too.
Okay.
Yin Wolf mentioned one that I quite liked, Ulysses 31.
See, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
It was
I've seen bits and clips,
guys,
and I'm
I
not impressed.
my Discord.
Okay.
It was
Right
actually
on.
quite good. Okay. It was basically retelling the Odyssey, but in a science fiction vein.
Yeah, I've got one
Right.
that was, to me, it was excellently written. Of course, I was a kid at the time, but I still remember it, so it was very memorable. It was a cartoon born of an RPG, Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
You can actually
Fun fact. I have to bring this up. Frank Welker played Uni the Unicorn.
you can actually find the final.
Oh, shit, Snark.
Which they never made online somewhere, but it's
Snark
still on
on
the
the
side of a
floor.
radio show because they never actually did the animation. They just wrote the script.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
Does anybody-
here. Oh, gargoyles! Gargoyles!
Gargoyles, great! Oh my God, Gargoyles was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was the shit. Gargoyles was
Did
the
any
shit.
of you ever see?
Phantom 2049? You remember that one?
No. Did any of you ever see the Banana Split show? Then you
Oh,
remember
God,
the
yes.
Arabian
Long time
Nights.
ago.
Yes.
How
the
come
Banana Splits.
nobody's mentioning the Nicktoons from the early '90s?
We're getting there. We're
Okay.
Because
we're
we're all
working
too
our
old.
way up there because I would watch cartoons with my kids too. Of course,
My head is on fire. My head is on fire.
a cartoon or otherwise known as anime that I watched until I got older and started thinking that it was like really cringy was crap. See,
Dragon Ball.
no, not well. That's one of them, but the other
Come
one
on,
is
That show gets cringy.
Sailor Moon.
That show is already cringy.
Biker Mice.
I love.
Well, you remember there was
Awesome.
Yeah, Biker Mice from Mars. You want to talk about Biker Mice from Mars? We can talk about Biker Mice. I can talk about Biker Mice from Mars all night long, man. But I'm not going to take over Maddie's stream for Biker Mice from Mars.
What program was that?
Well, this is clearly degraded.
Nah, Sailor Moon was boss.
Yeah,
Well, there
no,
was
I didn't
also
like it.
the
Sailor Moon was gay.
Does anyone
there
remember?
was-
It got to the point where when I was watching Sailor Moon, I would just wait for Tuxedo Mask to show up.
Well, and the bad thing is, I was
His
notorious for
his
getting
pimp
people to
costume?
accidentally call her Sailor Loon.
You mean Tuxedo Mask and his pimp costume?
Yeah.
Somebody
Right.
mentioned
Okay,
Thunder the
since we have-
Barbarian in the chat there, and it's something I never saw until recently, and I saw
Oh,
it
no,
on
we-
YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Since
We
wow.
already
I grew up on that.
mentioned Thunder like a
What is
while
it?
back.
Yeah, I
Okay,
wish
so
I'd
we have
actually seen
a-
it during the day.
ton of people on the stream. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to call out a cartoon, and then we're going to go down the line, starting with Batman and work our way down, so everybody has a chance to talk, and we're not talking all over each other. I remember Sunday mornings after my kid was about 2, they had the Marvel Power Hour with Iron Man, the Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man. Did you guys ever catch any of those?
Yeah, the first season of the Fantastic Four on that was fucking terrible.
No.
Then they redid it for the second season, and they did it basically. They did it closer to the comics, and it was way better.
Okay, how about you, Magnus?
Yeah, I kind of remember that, but I saw so many of them. I'm like, wait, was it this one or no? Wait, I think that was an older one. No, wait, no.
Right. All right, Chris, I'm going to get my dad.
Chris is going to get his dad. Mitch,
What?
did you watch either Iron Man or Fantastic Four or Spider-Man or even the Incredible Hulk in the Marvel Power Hour?
Yes and no.
Okay.
That's it's hard to explain that.
Well,
Yes, but I don't think I watched them as part of a block called the Marvel Power Hour.
Yeah, that's what was just mentioned.
mm-hmm.
I'll be back in a minute, so skip my turn on
Yeah.
the next one.
Because what was the song? Reed Richards is a spastic. Sue's just full of shite. The first season, it was just terrible.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
when they introduce. How about you, How about you, Walnut?
I honestly haven't heard of the Marvel Power Hour.
Oh, okay. How about you,
The only,
Pickers? Okay, we're gonna skip Icarus. Apparently, he's going to get somebody. How about you, Triname?
I had never even heard of it.
Okay.
The Spider-Man one, the thing I liked most about it was it tried to go a different direction than the comic books, and it pretty much worked.
Yep.
I grew up with the DC heroes, so
yeah,
I didn't even know there was a Marvel until the first Iron Man movie. Oh no, I guess technically Spider-Man. Well, I guess technically Blade, but I didn't know that was a comic book movie until like Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. How about you, hubby?
I remember all of them.
Trying to make girls say you can't have any of those.
They were absolutely correct. Fantastic Four, that was absolute garbage.
Yeah, until the second season.
When is it ever garbage?
Wait, hold on. What did I miss?
You're talking
Did
about
you
the Marvel
ever?
Power Hour.
Yeah. If you're catching any of that and everything, you know the better. Some of the better stories to me and everything came with Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
Have you guys ever seen the very first Fantastic Four movie ever made in like the 90s?
Yeah, the storyline is better than the subsequent.
Everyone says that it would be a great movie if there was a bigger budget.
Yeah.
If they would have stuck a little more to the canon.
They did with the original one because they knew it was never going to get released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the characterization in it, you can find it on YouTube. The characterization is good, apart from the guy playing the Human Torch, who seems constantly in a state of amazed shock.
I think his face is just stuck like that.
Yeah. So's his hair.
It was
he kind of had that same look. He had that same look on his face in Uncle Buck.
All right, let's see here. I've seen some of the. Okay, going to the Nicktoons. The only one that I have seen on the line here is a couple of episodes of the Rugrats, I think. And
Please,
that's about it. And I had to look those up.
Please tell me that you guys have just heard of the Hey Arnold Jungle movie.
Oh no! Wait a minute.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yep.
I have it. It was okay.
Go ahead.
Oh dear, it was okay. That's what it is.
Ah, okay. There was Johnny Neutron that I actually
Jimmy Neutron
that I watched off the Nicktoons. Oh, Invader Zim was a Nicktoon.
Oh God, Invader Zim.
Can you feel the fangasm in this room, guys?
Fuck, wait, hold up, fuck Invader Zim
and
NSYNC. Real match.
Angry Beavers.
Hated Invader Zim.
Oh, Mad Metal Man and Yin Wolf just went back. I never missed an episode of Johnny Quest.
Oh, give it you.
Oh,
I did.
Was a good show. That was a good show.
You want to know what show I watched? Johnny Test.
I'm with Tranime Girl. Johnny Question is cheap string vest.
Okay, here we go. Nickelodeon series. Oh, here's one. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Nope.
Boring as hell.
Loved it.
I loved it. I watched all the. Well, I mean, the original. The first season. I liked the first season.
It was.
I was too hipster to watch it until it all aired. The whole first season aired on a Thanksgiving, and I did not want to watch football at my family's house, so I changed it to that and hid the remote. And we watched the entire first season, and it was amazing. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go home and I have to watch all of these, and I have to love the show.
Hey, Maddie. Maddie, I noticed one thing. We've already lost that orderly progression.
Yeah, we have. We're just going to be talking all over it. Just remember, priority-wise, the people on Wi-Fi are Ronan, Magnus, and Callie. So if any of them start talking, or in Tranime, if any of them start talking, please be quiet and let them talk.
What I was going to ask is, how come Callie doesn't sound like Callie at the moment?
What are you talking about?
You sound awake.
I had a really bad day, so.
Talking about cartoons. Oh,
Yes.
Space Ghost!
Yep.
And the Herculoids!
I didn't like Space Ghost in the character until Space Ghost Coast to Coast on Adult Swim.
Yes.
That shit was so funny.
Adult Swim, yeah. They really cranked up the humor when they put him on Adult Swim. Yep.
Tsunami in general.
You know, starting to mention
they did
things
that
like
with a lot of. They did that with a lot of people, like Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those.
Oh, that was funny.
Did you get that thing I sent you?
Oh, that was the best show ever.
Yin was starting to mention stuff like Scarlet and Thunderbirds, which weren't cartoons.
Yeah, there are a couple that we're going to mention that aren't cartoons, but I mean, there are some that we have mentioned that in later iterations I was kind of iffy about, like when they rebooted the Transformers before Beast Wars.
Oh,
they tried to re-release the Transformers before Beast Wars. Beast Wars,
that was Generation 2. Generation 2 was the one where they decided to turn Megatron into a tank instead of a Walther P-38.
See if you get who this was. Ha! Do the monkey with me.
Oh, that was Johnny Bravo. No,
yes,
Johnny Bravo.
Here's something we were taught. You guys brought up ones that were kind of cartoons, but they were more live action.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to you, I don't know how I managed this every fucking Saturday. But every Saturday morning with no alarm clock, I was up 10 minutes before Ultraman came on the TV.
Ultraman.
Wait, I do have to bring this up, though. I watched the original Ultraman, like the first season.
Oh, Code Lyoko.
I have to bring this up because watching the original Ultraman that I used to love so much that I would wake up without an alarm clock, I got a full body cringe out of it.
Oh yeah, there was that. Let's see, because Generation 2 Transformers I didn't like. Beast Wars was excellently done. I loved Beast Wars.
You go back to Beast Wars though, and your eyes will puke.
Does anyone remember Reboot?
Yes.
I loved that cartoon so much.
Reboot was
good. That's the one where it's about the computer characters, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of my friends I actually met because of that stupid cartoon.
Well, and I do have to say, when we're on the subject of Transformers, the best Transformers series that I have seen to date would have to be the 2010 Transformers Prime, hands down.
Oh, I don't think I've seen all of that one.
You gotta understand. It was only 3 seasons and a movie. They started from season 1 where they meet the kids.
Yeah.
The kids in the show actually aren't that while they're not that bad, and they actually have that whole sensible course with was Agent Fowler. He was like a military agent. And they actually have a decent story for why the kids are suddenly their friends.
Yeah.
It's like, well, shit, now the Decepticons are going to think these kids are our allies, so we have to watch over them. Yep. Being Optimus Prime is we fucked up, now we got to deal with it kind of guy. Yeah. But if you watch all 3, they had some great standalone episodes that were kind of in the continuity of the story, but you could leave them out and miss nothing.
Yeah.
But the characters were some of the greatest ever, and it was dark enough to keep adults entertained.
Yeah, I have to admit, I didn't catch Code Lyoko until after I was an adult, and I absolutely fell in love with it.
I was weirded out by their foreheads.
If I may, I was surprised to find out that Code Lyoko was from France.
Can any of you remember Hanna-Barbera one from the 70s called Devlin?
No.
I was not.
About this guy, stunt bike rider. Yeah, I think you know what I mean.
Yes, I remember him.
Yeah,
I mean, that was the only cartoon I remember from the specifically from the Hanna-Barbera stables where there was no stupid stuff happening. There was no cute characters, and yeah.
Oh my
God. It was
God.
trying to be as adult as it could.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh my God! They brought it back, didn't they? And it took place in this modern time.
I really don't think that Rocco's Modern Life was supposed to be for kids.
No. Considering
Hold
Rocco
on.
worked at a sex hotline or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep it in mind, the only line from that that still makes me crack up. The only line from Rocco's Modern Life that still makes me crack up is that one. Frank, come back! I still love you. Wah.
We've got
my favorite whole bit from Rocco's Modern Life was the fact that the restaurant was called Choky Chicken.
Heifer lived in that Choky Chicken.
All right,
know,
here's another one from my era that played on Nickelodeon, I believe. Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, God.
I had the.
And then the Chewy
edgiest
Chicken.
show of the 90s there.
All right,
Ren and
Guys, no, hold up. If you guys really want to see edgy, go find the Ren and Stimpy adult. Adult version.
I had it.
I
have it
The
somewhere.
adult party, yeah.
the
I remember that shit.
Ren and Stimpy was stupid when they tried to make it an adult cartoon. They went so far that it was boring.
They went so far that it was fucking psychotic.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, you
The
guys.
Adventures of Grim and Mandy.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
Yes.
You know,
every
you
day
guys
watch that
mentioned,
shit,
the terrible fucking
The
Fonz
Ithaca
and the
Shop.
Happy Days gang.
And how he would slowly murder a frog, like, God.
Oh,
Oh.
Remember you guys mentioned the abortive Fonz and the Happy Days gang show?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see an even worse one where they basically turned the Happy Days cast into animals called Hey, It's the King?
No.
He was a lion.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Ugh.
yeah, it was awful.
Oh,
There was
God!
There was a cartoon that I saw. I think it was on Nickelodeon. It might have been on Cartoon Channel. I can't remember. That it was the first cartoon I had seen that you didn't see the black outline, and that was Samurai Jack.
Wait,
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Don't spoil it for me.
No, I haven't seen the
I
whole
still
thing all
haven't
the way
finished the
through.
5th season.
I do have one.
Okay.
The Wild Thornberries.
Oh my God.
Hey, Ronan, you might remember this one.
Okay.
Undercover Elephant.
not
No.
Thornberry.
It
No.
was basically this elephant who was a master of disguise, and when he's disguised, nobody recognises him, but you can still tell it's an elephant in a costume.
Now
I
there
think
is-
that's where the joke. Well, hang on. I think that's where the joke from the Animaniacs came from about Chicken Boo.
Possibly.
Mhm.
Oh, that was brilliant.
the
Chicken
other
Boo.
character
Well, and
that
you
I
guys,
know-
we've mentioned all these cartoons, and nobody, not once, has brought up Thunder Chicken.
I've never heard
Oh
of them.
God.
Never heard of it.
Chicken?
No, under
Thunder
Thunder
Chicken?
Chicken. Yeah, there was a superhero cartoon. It was a comedy called
Yeah.
Thunder Chicken.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
there was.
I remember Action League Now.
Action
What was
League
that
Now.
one?
Action League Now was the best.
It was
There was one I remember from the 70s. It was all the superheroes had disappeared or something. So they've got all these retired superheroes, and the main character is this old guy with a cane.
Wow.
I
I
can't
don't
remember the name of it.
Now I will do this. And converse to, it started out good and kind of went bad and then got good. We know the corny Super Friends where they made Aquaman absolutely useless, but when they brought back the Justice League, that was good.
Yes, it was.
Oh, Justice League all the way through.
Friends
to Justice
Aquaman
League,
was pretty damn useless.
perfect.
Pickress, we've got.
What
just letting you know.
what can you do, Aquaman? We talk to fish.
Yeah, we do have a few people on Wi-Fi, so if Magnus starts talking, Traname, Callie, or Ronan, please don't interrupt them because Wi-Fi signals can be iffy at best.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
well. No, see, what the best thing was about the Justice League cartoon is when they started it up, they kept it small and simple, just 7 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept building the story to the point where it's like, oh, well, now we just got to expand the universe so we can, and they had a lot of good standalone episodes with different heroes, but the fact that they threw Cadmus in, it just got so much better as it went, and you're like, It was to the point that was one of the few shows that I'm like, oh shit, Justice League's coming on. I better go grab a chair. And...
I know, right? Now I got a little disappointed with Unlimited because I was expecting them to highlight more of the other characters that were on the show, and they just kind of centered on the core few, except for the one episode with the question.
No, they did quite a few.
The one with Wildcat, I believe.
Maddy, they did
Captain Atom.
Spin the batter on with quite a few of them.
Yep. I wanted to see more of them, though.
There was that episode, General Eiling takes this serum and turns into this monster, goes after Superman, but he's not there. So it was all like the Green Arrow and Shining Knight.
Yeah.
See, what it was all the heroes who had no powers at all.
Yeah.
Vigilante, Shining Knight,
Stargirl,
Green Arrow, Stargirl, Stripes, and then God, what was it? Speedy shows up, and I forgot the other guy's name.
Yeah.
The Crimson Avenger.
That guy, yeah.
Yes.
And then there was another cartoon that started out good, and then they fucked it up, and that was Teen Titans, and then they turned it into Teen Titans Go.
Teen Titans Go is getting a movie.
Teen Titans Go is
Teen Titans Go is going to be in theaters, guys.
I love Teen Titans Go, but to enjoy it, you have to put the other one out of your head.
You have to be one with the couch.
You have to be high to enjoy Teen Titans Go.
Teen Titans Go is made by fucking stoners.
No, well, you know what? Maybe that explains why I liked it. I fell in love with Teen Titans Go when I was hopped up on pain meds after my surgery.
Teen Titans Go was really just there to make fun of Teen Titans, and if you weren't on board with having something you like making fun of you will hate it.
Yeah.
I like Teen Titans, but I still like Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
I mean, God, they had to be making fun of themselves. They had all the same actors.
Yeah.
But I do have to make sort of a guilty confession.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I really liked Teen Titans was because I'm into goth chicks.
I had when I was younger, I had a crush on the same character.
Okay.
One episode of Teen Titans Go, which just
I was always into Starfire.
Raven decides to ditch a cape and she becomes Lady Legs. But Cyborg picks up the cape and thinks he's look cool in it, and he ends up getting possessed by the cape.
Oh God, I remember that. Oh, Poppy went back to 1984 with another cringy ass cartoon, the WWF cartoon.
Oh my God. Dude, that reminds me of something better, Celebrity Deathmatch.
Hey, Fuckwad.
Hulk Hogan's rockin' wrestling. Hulk Hogan's rockin' wrestling. Oh my God.
Hulk Hogan's rockin' wrestling. We had Batman the Brave and the Bold that kind of tried to throw back to the 1940s cartoons and the way they did it. The Batman the Brave and the Bold.
No, that wasn't. That's Batman the animated series. There you're thinking of. Batman the Brave and the Bold was kind of like a cross between more modern Batman and the 1960s one.
Yeah.
Like all it was missing was Adam West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one, and we can go back to the mid '80s again.
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot and the Monster Machine.
Oh yeah, we covered that one. Oh yeah.
That's the one with the monster trucks.
Yeah, I had to be the asshole.
Monster trucks, right?
Can you remember the Godzilla cartoon?
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember the Godzilla
stream right here.
Hey, Fuckwad.
They reran the Godzilla cartoon on Cartoon Network for years.
Uh-huh.
Of course,
When the Cartoon Network first started out, it was called the Cartoon Network, and they played a lot of the old cartoons that I grew up with.
And then they made Boomerang.
And then they made Boomerang for that, and a lot of what was in Boomerang were the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like Huckleberry Hound and Magilla Gorilla.
Pink Panther.
Panther.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Yeah, exit stage right.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up a cartoon.
What about
that is
the Pink Panther theme is a really good piece of jazz.
It is.
Notice
My
how
friend
she tells
can
me
play
to
it.
shush after I shut up.
I already started.
Alright, go ahead, Callie. What were you going to say?
Well, I discovered a cartoon on Netflix a while back called Castlevania. and I had to go play the games, and then I had to come back and be like, "Oh, this is like American anime." And it stars fucking Thorin, what's his shield from the Hobbit movies.
Oh God!
And I was like, oh my god. And the animation was so pretty.
Now I will tell
Actually,
you
the
that,
Castlevania series is really good.
yeah, I was. You know what? One cartoon that because I was getting disillusioned with the quality of animation for a while, and then came Batman the Animated Series.
Oh my god.
Yep.
I watched
Batman
that.
the Animated Series is my favorite.
Yep. I mean,
First appearance of Harley Quinn. Can't go wrong there.
Yep.
I mean, it was the whole feel of the cartoon, the storyline of the cartoon, the action in it. Everything just drew me in because it was at that time where I was looking for cartoons to watch, and I just wasn't happy with what was out there at the time.
I was in the dark booty, guys.
You know what I liked about it? It didn't pander to the fanboys, so Batman got beaten up occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're interested, the Batman Gotham by Gaslight, I recommend it because, again, we don't have an Uber Batman.
Yeah.
Well, how about
you have a flawed Batman?
I have to tell you, Batman. I got a hold of a copy of that, and I'm here, so I'm not watching it. And the reason I'm not watching it is because I'm downloading that fucking game that was supposed to be out yesterday.
I mean, there were some cartoons that people are going to gasp. I couldn't get past the animation of, I think it's called The Regular Show.
Oh yeah.
No, regular show. You have to smoke weed to get that show anyway.
Yeah.
Or do
Anything
acid.
but.
Hold up. Why the hell would we gasp over you thinking The Regular Show was shit?
I don't know, because a lot of people like it. So
You know, I liked it when I was like not as old as I am.
yeah.
Now I look back on it and I'm like, why did I watch this? Oh yeah, because I was high.
Yeah. It was like there was a Marvel cartoon that I grew up with. It had the first iteration, which was the Incredible Hulk, and then they introduced the Gray Hulk, which wasn't. He was smart. He could articulate, but he wasn't as strong as the green one.
And he wasn't as smart as Banner.
No, and he wasn't as, which always really, because in later cartoons when they introduced the Hulk, it was like, me Hulk, me smash. I'm like, he's not stupid.
He just has nothing to say.
See, here's the thing: the way it worked was the Gray Hulk wasn't quite as strong, but he was a lot smarter than the Green Hulk.
Yeah.
He was a better
Was
fighter.
supposed to be coming with as a pure fucking rage monster.
Yeah.
So, but then eventually they did make the Green Hulk smarter through some storyline where they merged the Gray and Green Hulk into one Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Professor Hulk.
Hulkception.
But then they ditched that because they decided, I know, what if every time the Professor Hulk gets angry, he turns into the Green Hulk, but with ordinary Bruce Banner's body?
Oh, no, you don't understand. Batman, when the Hulk hulks out, he turns apparently into Claw, which is basically Hulk spelled backwards.
That's a very recent thing. But the one you were on about, it was the Professor Hulk. And when he got angry, he got stronger. But then they altered it so that, he turned into Banner, but with the Green Hulk's brain.
Well, here's the thing. Other than the retarded name of being Hulk spelled backwards, Claw's actually pretty badass looking, I have to admit.
No.
But yeah, that name, it's like, what? You guys couldn't have come up with like
Bob?
DEFCON 58 or something?
Yeah.
Something at least sounds cool.
Fuckwad has mentioned Top
Murder
Cat.
Hulk 4000.
Top Cat.
Top
What
Cat.
about the Bionics?
Top Cat.
What about the Bionic 6 or SWAT Cats?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 SWAT.
SWAT Cats was the shit.
Yeah, SWAT Cats was
The
the
Hound Cats.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, there was also what was it? There was a Heathcliff cartoon and a Garfield cartoon.
Yeah.
Anybody remember the show Reboot?
Yes, we discussed that.
We
one.
already. Yeah, we
About
talked.
Phineas and Ferb.
Yep. Phineas and Ferb. Especially the crossover episode with the Avengers when they're like, that's your base? Shouldn't we be somewhere bigger? And next thing you know, they're... Wow, it's so much bigger on the inside. And yet, yes, due to, what was it, British technology or something like that?
British science fiction technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Insert well-placed Doctor Who reference here.
Yes. Samurai pizza cats.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
that.
Pizza cat.
How
I
come
learned
I
about-
like that, but I dislike the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Weird,
How
isn't it?
dare you?
Because
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is amazing.
I can tell you the appeal of the Samurai Pizza Cats versus the Turtles, Batman. I think it's because it's kind of hard not to like a cartoon about 3 cats wearing weird samurai armor running around delivering pizzas.
This is true.
But I liked it. I like the Teenage Mutant
Like it was
Turtles.
conceived on marijuana.
Yeah, I
Hey,
like my Turtles.
what about
Lopez.
ones like the Avengers, the
Lopez.
World's Mightiest Heroes,
That was a
or
good
Avengers?
one.
Sorry, Avengers Assembled. Avengers
That
World's
sucks.
Mightiest Heroes is the more recent one, where all the Avengers, apart from Black Widow, are male, and they
Yeah.
always fuck up, and Black Widow has to come save them.
It was like when the first Avengers came out. I remember. I think it was the end of season 1. I was sitting in the living room. We were watching it. And you had Loki, triumphant, and he goes, "I
Yeah.
have all your friends here. There was no one else to save you." And I shouted, "Cavalry call!" because he forgot about Iron Man.
Yeah.
But
that was
do you
good
do you,
fucking story arc.
do you know about the very childlike cartoon of the Avengers? I call it Baby Avengers. They're all
Yeah.
What,
very
Avengers
tiny.
Assemble?
I don't know.
You know what's
Yeah,
a terrible
Avengers
modern
Assemble is
cartoon?
terrible.
It would come on before like Generator Rex, so I would sit there and wait.
I
They've
was
done,
I was
they've done the same with the Justice League, because now they've got Justice League Action now, which is basically Justice League to
Batman
challenge.
does that a lot.
Well,
They seem to be kiterating a lot of really good cartoons. What were you gonna
Yep.
say, Pinkerus?
a terrible modern day cartoon, Steven Universe.
I didn't even
Oh,
hear that.
yeah.
Never
Everyone
watched
was
it.
like, "Oh, you should go watch Steven Universe. You should go watch Steven Universe." I'm like 3 episodes in, and I'm like, "This is very dumb and pastel, and I hate it."
No, I was just
And
gonna
what is
say,
the fandom?
Yeah.
just for the sheer injection of dumb politics into it.
Yeah.
I used to watch it, and then it started getting really weird, and I'm like, nah, screw this. I ain't watching this anymore.
Yeah. I never watched Uncle Grandpa, but Mad Men.
Oh.
That was
That
worse.
is another
No.
stoner show.
Uncle
Did
Grandpa
you-
is that cartoon that you watch when you're really stoned.
Did you ever see that episode of,
that cartoon you watch when you're just like done.
What was that
Dude.
show like? Super Mountain Fort Awesome. Same guy who
No.
made Uncle Grandpa. Except the art style's much more
Hyperforce
horrendous.
Go or something like that.
Did you ever see that
Okay,
episode of the
if-
Powerpuff Girls, where the feminists got hold of them?
Where they're
Yeah,
twerking.
we already saw that one. No, I gotta bring this up. If you're gonna watch cartoons, quote unquote, that you really want to watch when you're high, go find either H&R Puffin stuff
Oh God.
or
Oh.
or Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
Oh.
Hold on.
Oh my God,
No.
Sigmund. I love the
Zen-
song from Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
No,
I remember
Xavier
H.R.
the
Puffin.
Renegade.
Love that
Xavier
song.
Ren-
Great.
No. Xavier the Renegade Angel. Jesus Christ. I said it.
Xavier Renegade Angel is fun.
Jesus, I tried watching that when I was young and influenced.
There was one cartoon that became my guilty pleasure simply because the first time I watched it, I was wondering why the hell it was even on TV. And then I started kind of liking it because it was kind of cringy and funny at the same time, and that was Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
I love
Oh, Aqua Teen,
Love
Aqua Teen is a masterpiece because it's cringy and whacked. It's awesome, cringy, and whacked all rolled into one.
It is.
Oh yeah.
I'm
hold
so
on,
Remember
hold
when
on.
they deep fried that whole cow?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
but here's the thing. That Meatwad actually
All right, guys, I
explained.
gotta go on mute for a minute.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
okay.
What I was about to say is, I think Meatwad was the one that summed it up when he said, "Wisdom, Dumb as hell.
Yeah.
I'm sold. I can remember watching Marine Boy.
Oh God. Yeah.
You know what one of his weapons was? I mean, he's all underwater. His girlfriend is a mermaid, and one of his weapons is a fucking exploding boomerang. When I was a kid, I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, now it's like, what the fuck?
No, how does a boomerang work underwater? And it's an exploding boomerang. What happens if you miss a target? You gonna catch it again? I don't think so.
Now here's a cartoon that
Must have been invented by an Aussie.
I know, right? Here's a cartoon that most of you would remember. I sat down and I watched this with my kid, and I loved it because of his stupidity. And it went doot 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 doot.
Inspector Gadget.
No, Ed, and Eddie.
Eddie. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, Batty Cat Whistle.
I wasn't whistling.
Now, I do have to. I do have to bring up that if you haven't heard the creepypasta that was actually a fan theory about the show, that is one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
It is really good.
Is that the one where Ed's alive, but Ed and Eddie are dead?
That's one where everyone's dead.
They're trapped in purgatory.
Oh my God, I can't see that name without singing it. It's Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah, the brain.
Pinky
Yeah.
and the
Pinky
Brain.
and the brain. One of them's a genius, the other one's Maddie.
Very funny.
Nah.
Well, see, the worst thing about that is the running fan theory is that actually Brain is the one who's insane and Pinky's the genius because Pinky's always foiling Brain's plans and making it look like he just fucked up.
Yeah,
Like Gilligan from Gilligan's Island. He doesn't want to go back to society.
And you have the Animaniacs.
Fingerprints.
Oh, the Animaniacs are the greatest thing ever made.
Yeah.
God, yes. Another cartoon show with double with innuendos like "Hello, nurse."
Nurse. I like Katie Kaboom.
Fingerprints. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
Are you wondering what I'm thinking, Pinky?
I think
Well,
so, Brian.
yeah,
But where are we
I'm
going
fine.
to find rubber pants our size?
No, actually, I was about to say, I think so, Brain. But how are we going to get the hippo in the tutu?
Oh my God, it's almost like Keenan and Kel.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh God. Freakazoid. That was another.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. And the Tick.
Oh, I hated
Oh,
the
the
Tick.
Tick was
My
fucking
mom
I hated
fucking
the
loved
Tick.
that show.
Da dwee da 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 dwee da. Brilliant music.
It's time for Crusading Chameleon to take a hand. Can't do played.
Actually, the funniest thing about the Tick was you can actually rewatch it and it's still fucking funny as hell.
God.
Because I found like the first 3 or 4 episodes on YouTube. I was sitting there laughing my fucking nuts off the whole fucking time because I was like, okay, this one's actually got replay value.
This one that always gets me when I watch a Tick. What always sticks in my mind is they brought on this character who was only in it for like a minute or two. Because now it's time. What was it? Lemming Man to take a hand. Damn you, Mom!
I never got into the Tick. I liked the theme song, and then I'd always change channels.
Oh, it was brilliant.
The funniest thing about the Tick, I have to admit, is it's got me. I would have done it before now, but I didn't know if the joke would be understood. But that shows part of the reason why I keep wanting to call Batman Die Flittermouse.
Yeah,
Apart from one thing, he was a coward.
Okay, well here's something interesting and everything. The actor that did the voice for the Tick is playing the live action Tick.
Yes.
I've seen that.
Oh, yeah,
I
there's
don't
a lot
have
of
the old live action Tick, you know, where they had Batman. Well,
Peter Warburton.
Oh God!
Chris T says, "My son is curious. Have you covered the adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters?" No.
What?
No.
What is this?
Hold up. That was actually a parody of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's what it sounded like.
It was fucking hilarious.
No, I think I gotta go back and see that. I've never seen that. Never even heard of it, actually. Oh my God. Yeah, I'd have to sit and since my kid wanted to watch the Tick, I had to watch the Tick. So I know the references and stuff, but it was like I was always in the kitchen listening to it until something else came on. It's just something I never got into. Oh, DuckTales.
They remade it. I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah, I hear they remade it too. Let me see. Oh yeah, anime that I was introduced to. Anime. Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh God, I watched that before it was actually on TV. Yu Yu Hakusho is a pretty old anime.
Yeah, Rurouni Kenshin.
It was one of. Oh God, yeah.
Yes, Rurouni Kenshin, which was good except for the yes I am. Yes, I will.
Yes, I am. Actually, the funny thing about that was it was one of those Japanese things that they do in the show.
Mm-hmm.
They had to come up, I guess, with something for the English version.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what he was actually saying in the original. In the original Japanese.
Have you had the fan theory about what was it, Pokemon? That in the first episode, Ash is in gets put into a coma, and the entire show is just taking place in his coma.
Oh God,
which explains why a kid and his two slightly older friends are allowed to go around the world
and they never age.
Weird monsters. They never age, and there's no adults around anywhere. Or very few.
I thought Ash is short.
Hold up! All the adults in the show look identical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see.
Why was the female member of Team Rocket strangely compelling?
James?
Yeah.
Tenchi Muyo.
Oh God, I saw that
James. He was my first animated crush.
I told you I was gonna go back.
The worst thing about Tenchi Muyo was watching it way before anybody else had ever heard of it. So the reference, nobody got the references to Tenchi Muyo until about 10 years after I first watched it.
Right. Then there was Inuyasha that I got pissed off at because they ended the show before the show ended. You had to read the ending in the manga. That pissed me off.
I know it's not a cartoon thing, but it might as well have been. Japanese show came out in the 70s, early 80s. Monkey.
Monkey?
Yeah. Oh, Monkey. You might remember it better as Monkey Magic.
Nope. I don't remember Monkey Magic.
No.
Oh, it was absolutely fucking hilarious. Based on that Journey to the West book.
Huh.
But, yeah.
It was hilarious.
Then there's always the ever popular Naruto with the infinite filler Yomi.
Oh God, I got so fucking sick of that show, and when it started Naruto Shippuden, I was like, fuck this show. I'm tired of watching it.
It got to the point where you were looking for guides online to see, how you could skip the filler and stay with the storyline.
So Maddy spent her youth looking for guys online. Right, note it down.
Very funny.
I don't remember Monkey and I haven't seen Naruto yet.
Oh.
How is that any different from the Arrowverse? I mean, let's face it, that's filled with a bunch of fucking idiotic teenage love drama, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see, what other oh yeah, there was also Dexter's Laboratory, which
My head is on fire.
What?
My favourite episode of that is where his brain overloads and it ends up where he kisses a duck's ass.
Oh
Literally.
God. Now I think my favorite one was when his sister made him go outside. He just did not know how to cope with that.
Did you ever see the one where he has to see the principal with his mother and his sister?
Yeah.
And he uses the body swap machine.
Yeah.
And then it ends up Dee Dee's in the mother's body, he's in Dee Dee's body,
Yes.
and the dog is in his body, and he's sitting there going, Dee Dee's stupid, I'm stupid. And Dee Dee, I'm not, I mean, you're not.
The episode when he gets the dog to talk. Food for me? Food for me? Food for me?
Dial M. A spin-off of that show was Dial M for Monkey.
Yes, Dial M for Monkey.
Yes.
What was the other one? The one where the three superheroes were roommates. God, what the fuck was that called?
Yeah.
I know the name of one of them was Crunk.
Yeah, the incomparable Crunk.
The intractable Crunk.
I remember the name, but I can't remember the character.
Valhalla.
And Major Glory.
Yep. Let me see if I can come up with a. Okay. Let me see. Dex.
Hey guys, I'm back.
All right.
Okay.
Hey guys, we don't care.
Just heard you guys were talking about Dexter's little weird information. Seth MacFarlane was a writer on Dexter's Lab.
Ooh.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
Right. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's not much of a surprise.
Omelette du fromage.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only I took French in high school, but the only French I remember is omelette du fromage because of that cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, the piece of French I remember from school is Ferme le Bosch un gros mouchon.
Wait, doesn't that translate into I surrender?
Just as friends. Just as friends.
Ah.
I don't know
It
why I
translates
remember
to shut your mouth, you big pig.
Oh my god.
No, I was going to say that I'm a big fan of voice actors, and I used to listen to this podcast by Rob Paulson, who voiced a lot of characters. He used to have voice actors come on and talk about their experiences and how they work, and and do voices and stuff. It was the funniest thing I have ever heard in my entire life. I died every episode.
Do you know what cracked me up? I saw Casey Kasem live doing Shaggy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was...
It just does. His face and his body does not fit with that voice.
No.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, you know what? If you want to get three of his characters in a room having a conversation, why don't we just go whole hog? We'll get Cliff Jumper from the Transformers, get Shaggy from Scooby Doo, and we'll get Robin from Super Friends.
Oh boy,
god. Yeah.
Literally, Frank
Do
Kelly
we have to?
about Casey Kasem being the voice of Robin, and it was like really funny. He did like the Casey Kasem voice, and it was like, "Dear Batman, it's a letter from the Riddler."
Yeah. From his top 40.
And he writes. And then he goes, and he writes.
Yes.
Yeah, and he writes. And he writes. I've came up with a new. I have a new partner, but I can't tell you who it is because I'm the Riddler. But the answer lies in a song from 1974.
Holy midnight tokers, Batman!
Midnight.
Oh my god, that was hilarious.
Midnight tokers, Batman.
Oh my god, can anybody remember the Scooby-Doo episode with the Harlem Globetrotters?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I can actually remember watching
Batman.
What?
Which one is the question? Which episode? Because there was like 3 of them.
The first one.
Like I said, which one? Because I don't even remember which one was the first one.
I know, right?
I remember all 3 of them vaguely, but I definitely remember watching the Harlem Globetrotters cartoon as well.
Mm. Oh yeah.
There's another one where they inserted a cute animal, but it actually worked.
Yeah.
The dog that wore the basketball uniform with 4 fucking sneakers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Air Bud. They made like 1 billion movies.
Let's see, they had... Oh, Poffet also mentions Droids. I remember Droids. Droids was good.
Oh, God,
It was
yeah.
better than Star Wars, actually.
Droids was excellent.
See, it was actually better than Star Wars in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, well, the droids he's talking about, I think, are the...
Timmy.
You got into the droid and you fought with them, I think.
Are you sure?
Oh, you're talking about Zoids?
Zoids.
No, I think
saw
he's
that
on
one.
about... I think he's on about the Star Wars droids, because
Yeah.
he does mention Ewoks as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there was the Clone Wars cartoon.
Dear,
Yes, dear?
I am going to be I'm going to be cutting out of here. I'll be listening in for as much as I can, but we're getting ready to roll through Omaha and continue to go on up here to Iowa.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
Watch out for those.
Get
Ronan,
souvenirs.
watch out for those idiots. Watch out for those idiots out wandering around.
No shit. Well, the problem is, Magnus, and everything after this, we're going to Battle Creek.
Ew! Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, Ronan, your deep, powerful voice will be missed.
Yes.
Yes, I know. But
Be careful, dear.
I will miss you guys. I will think of you. I will try to check in as much as possible during the coming days. Right now, we're running on caffeine and cat naps, and I even got poor Nearest drinking coffee, something he doesn't do.
The one thing to be careful about with catnaps is when you wake up and you see a ball of yarn.
I know, right?
Timmy.
I see a ball of yarn.
Oh, that was cheesy.
And then I hear Batman speaking and everything, and I notice that I'm in his living room looking at his computer. I'm going to really worry.
Well, the moment you be lying in a pattern box.
No,
Timmy, do you
all the
have
porn
to?
would be dressed in clown gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, be careful, honey.
But,
I love you.
Careful.
I love you
Sorry.
too.
Drive
Yeah.
safely.
See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Have fun and be safe. Ish.
All right. Oh, the Lone Ranger cartoon
Yeah, I remember that.
and
Oh,
Robotech.
What the heck is going
Robotech.
on upstairs?
Actually,
No, no. Which Lone Ranger cartoon? Because there was two. There was one from
You
the
know
early
three
60s
edited
and there was
together.
a bad version from like the 80s or 90s.
Well, wasn't there a series? I think the company was Filmation, but there was a series of cartoons by Filmation, I think, including Star Trek: The Animated Series.
Yes, that's true.
That
God.
all used the same music.
Yep.
Star Trek the
Yeah.
animated series.
I was gonna.
You also did your favorite one, Mitch. The Brady Kids.
Oh yeah, we already brought that up.
I was
Oh,
gonna.
yeah.
We've tried to forget it, so
Robotech
thank you
together.
for bringing it up again.
Someone, if I may interject, someone mentioned Robotech. Man, I first heard about it because I had the very first Xbox game I ever played was Robotech Battle Cry.
Yeah.
Maddie's left the room. I think
Oh,
we,
shit.
we should, when she comes back, I think we should pretend that we can't hear her.
Batman aims to misbehave.
The only other anime I saw that was similar, well, the only anime I watched was
What?
Did we just lose somebody?
I think so.
Aww.
Not me.
What was he saying? The only anime, and then he cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we supposed to like play the game where we all try to finish the sentence, or?
I don't.
The only
I don't
anime
think
which smells strange is the one with purple socks. That doesn't sound right, does it?
It sounds like you need therapy.
Yeah, well, we all
Possibly-
do after some cartoons
Yeah.
we've seen.
Possibly methadone.
I don't know what the back.
What the?
I don't know. Somebody with a yo-yo connection, probably.
Yes.
That would be me. That'd be me.
Right. So when's Maddie going to get back?
She's already back.
Is she? Ah, there
Oh.
she is.
Well, finally.
10-second delay. Ha-ha. I gotta go to the bathroom. Shit.
But we never really addressed the
Why
question.
in commode?
What we never addressed the question. What happened to cartoons?
They got dumbed down.
Yep.
Well,
It
in the 80s
it
and
became-
90s, they started hacking out any mention of violence.
Well, no, what it was what they did to cartoons was over the years, they stopped trusting the audience to either get the point of what they were doing, or they just figured I don't know, somewhere along the way they just stopped trusting the audience to either they stopped trusting the parents to explain what the kids didn't get, or they were just like, yeah, fuck these kids, they'll watch anything, we'll just
That's
throw
part.
them
Well,
on the
let's think about that, because show of hands. Wait, that doesn't work here, does it? Anyway, as a kid, how many of us believed that we could go out and find a radioactive spider and get bitten and be Spider-Man?
Right.
Yeah.
Or find dinosaur bones.
Yeah. Or, I mean, there were the occasional kid who was so stupid he watched Superman on a cartoon and then broke his fucking legs. trying to fly.
What you mean? None of us kids were dumb enough to sit outside watching the sky all night so that we could find the dinosaurs and become the secret scouts?
Right.
Oh,
Not me.
But
No, it just bothers me that the executives behind some of this stuff actually think that little of people in general.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
Well, we can't have a Spider-Man cartoon because some kid will go out and get a nuclear reactor and start farming insects and arachnids out of their garden.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's partially that, and I mean the attitude to the original Star Trek series before it was aired. Yeah, we can't show this. The American audience wouldn't understand it. It's too cerebral.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Hugely insulting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much so.
It was very cerebral, but the average man on the street could still get it because the average man on the street is not stupid. Or they didn't used to be anyway.
Buffett goes, what really happened? The best writers moved to TV in Hollywood, like the great Bob Forward, who wrote for He-Man and Beast Wars.
I thought He-Man was fucking particularly shite, though.
When I was little,
I don't know.
When I was little, I loved He-Man and She-Ra. I cannot go back and watch those now because I cringe too much.
I think that's my problem with He-Man. I was too old. I will freely admit that. But another thing I've noticed is I think it's because the same thing that's happened with every media. Social politics has invaded it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's certainly part of it, but that's actually been there for quite a while.
Yeah. I mean, since the mid-80s.
Remember the drug PSAs?
I mean, I understand that it's escalated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah, quite badly. But that stuff's always been there, though.
Yeah, could it be? Because since the mid-80s, when they had to do the PSA at the end of G.I. Joe, that's when it started kind of seeping in. And then it just, kind of escalated from there.
It's fine if it's seeping in, but we practically have it, like, if you watch Supergirl now on CW,
I try not to.
It's almost as though they turn to the camera and say, and let this be a lesson to you kids at home.
Yeah.
Lesbians are cool.
I mentioned Steven Universe earlier, and that's just like that show should just be called SJWs.
Yeah, I've heard all about it.
Oh, but see, the problem is back in the day they had to be covert about it. They had to find a way to sneak around and shit on your head. Now they just drop their and do it.
Welcome to Coffee Talk Raging Heavens. Pull up a seat and grab your favorite brew.
And while I agree that lesbians are cool, I don't need a lesbian relationship to take the place of that male-female, of that hetero relationship, where they're always complaining about the female character is just a how do they say that? They're just a like completely secondary to the male character. They're just it's always just a bitchy, whiny girlfriend. Well, now we have a lesbian couple where one of them is just a bitchy, whiny girlfriend. In fact, they alternate.
It's not just
they still don't know how to write a girlfriend.
Hey, Mitch, it's not just
trying to hide that fact through homosexuality.
The entire relationship is really forced, really artificial. In fact, the entire show's just badly written.
Well, I mean, it's gone from watching the action unfold in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to nowadays when they're like, okay, we're going to do this and you're going to do that and I'm going to be over here and you're going to be... Don't explain it, just do it. Don't give me the exposition, just do it. It's...
Well, yeah, it's like, how do they do that? They, first we'll have to decouple the power regulator and, in the time they take to explain the solution, they could have exercised the solution.
Yeah.
And then there was a really big back and forth. You could call it a controversy if you want to use that word, with the second season of the Avatar: The Last Airbender, because they actually had, or they were hinting at, a lesbian relationship in that cartoon. And
what did I come back to? Lesbians?
Some people were saying that it was, perfectly okay to have lesbians in a cartoon, and parents were saying it's too young to expose kids to that. It should have just been a cartoon about her becoming the Avatar.
Yep.
And might I say, lesbians are cool.
Especially if you leave them in the freezer.
Hold up, but lesbians are the most boring fucking creatures on the planet.
True.
Back when I was a teenager, it was like, oh look, lesbians. Now it's like, get that shit off my fucking. When I find porn of lesbians, I'm like, get that shit.
I have to admit.
Let me finish. Go ahead, Magnus.
Well, no, I pretty much finished what I was saying. I was just saying, it's like, you know, back in my horny teenager days, it's like, ooh, lesbians, that's awesome, that's sexy. Now it's like, get that shit off my fucking.
I always laughed at people who went on about the lesbian fantasy because there's a couple of lads who were on our dinner break and sitting there going on about lesbians. And you're stupid. You know, well, why is that? You realise if either one of you was in a bedroom with two lesbians, the first thing that happened is you get kicked in the nuts. The second thing that would happen is you get thrown out of the room, and the third thing is you'd hear the door lock.
Yeah.
Well, I do have to admit that my interest in lesbians is purely scientific.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing a lot of observation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really interested in the effect of the observer on the event.
Mm-hmm. Nobody believes you, Mitch.
I'm looking into a. Oh my God! I'm about to coin a new phrase that the left is going to use.
Oh my God!
Oh dear!
Don't do it.
Oh, no.
I'm looking into quantum sexuality.
Oh God!
Jesus Christ. Oh, Christ.
I identify
Quantum sexuality.
Oh my God! You heard it here first. You know who to blame.
I identify.
Let me point out that the study of lesbians is as worthless as when they studied cow farts.
I identify as a subatomic particle.
Well, the difference between studying lesbians and studying cow farts is you're probably not going to get arrested for trying to set a cow fart on fire.
I'll give you that one.
It's not only the storyline that's been dumbed down, it's just, to me, the quality of the animation and the drawing has gone down too.
It goes in waves because you look at the old Fleischer Superman stuff.
They were fucking brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They were better than
someone. That's the look of someone who gives a damn about their craft.
Yes.
And for those of you wondering in the live chat, the actual still of Superman is from the Fleischer animated cartoon that happened in the 40s. I think it was the 40s, right? It was the 40s?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They're actually better quality than a lot of the CGI enhanced cartoons.
They're relying too much on CGI, in my opinion, for a lot of this stuff, because you can have a great animated series without the CGI or very minimal CGI. But the story has to be there, and the story has to be solid, and the animation has to look like people took time to do their craft.
Like Batman Beyond.
Hang on, though. Maddie, you forget one thing, though. If you look at the comic book industry, people are too lazy to draw anything anymore.
Yes,
that's true.
Yeah,
you're right.
I've been watching.
You guys did see the Red Sonja picture, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes, I did.
Yeah, I saw the Red Sonja
I hate you for that forever, Magnus.
Well, I subscribe to Mim Hedrum, and I'm watching him because he literally said he came out of retirement, quote unquote, from YouTube, from doing his doctorate because of what they were doing to the comic books. And some of the artistry that I have seen in the comic books is like, who fucking drew this? It's my.
There was one of the She-Hulk runs when it went SJW Marvel. It looked like a bored, talentless 5-year-old had drawn them.
Yeah,
literally.
Did you see what those SJWs at Marvel did with the G.I. Joe comics?
No.
Yeah, they made that one fat chick.
But when you're on about storylines, Maddie, I've seen it in the Supergirl, and it's creeping into all of the CW stuff now.
Yeah.
And it seems to be endemic within SJW controlled fucking media. Is they've forgotten that a story comprised of 3 parts: start, a middle, and a conclusion.
Mm-hmm. You know No, I mean,
They don't have any of that.
they're too busy pushing an agenda.
Yeah, totally.
Well, it's they're too busy writing from an infantile point of view.
Yeah.
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 And that's the difference when they keep pointing. Well, Marvel did it in the 60s. No, Marvel didn't. Marvel actually pointed out, like, and yeah.
Marvel mirrored what was happening
towards.
politically at the time.
Yes, but they did it in an adult way.
Yes, they did. X-Men is a prime example of that. You had segregation in the 50s and 60s, and Marvel came out with the X-Men. And the X-Men theme was acceptance and living in coexistence with people who were different.
Yep, yeah. X-Men's a social commentary.
Yeah.
But it's done in an intelligent way.
It is. Very intelligent.
And a subtle way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good night, Cthulhu.
Well,
good night, Prophet.
Night, Cthulhu.
Batman, you do realize, Night Prophet, you do realize that subtlety is almost a lost art. These days. I mean, it's fine if they want to make their little social commentary, but you can't just cram it up my ass and twist it 3 times and expect me to go, ooh, I like that. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, Mad Metal Man says, I miss the old cartoons. Sure, sometimes it was rough to look at, but there's so much more heart in it. Yeah, you could tell. They actually put an effort into the cartoons back then.
There's another huge difference between when I was a kid and nowadays. Is when I was a kid, we, even though I was a kid, rooted for the good guy. You want the hero to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now kids want the bad guys to be the heroes, or at least that's what's pushed for them.
Yeah, especially when the Suicide Squad came out and all that, and I was like, well, one of our relationship goals is to have a relationship like Harley Quinn and the Joker. No, you don't want that kind of relationship. Do you even know what kind of relationship that is?
Yeah, it was a...
Well, see, Maddie...
It's abusive, it's Stockholm Syndrome.
Hold on. What were you going to say, Magnus?
I can explain the problem with that very easily. It's because they've turned the superheroes into such shit. Even I root for the bad guys when I see a comic book.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's part of what they're doing is called the deconstruction.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's because the bad guys, as poorly written as they are the more interesting characters.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. I mean, it goes back as far as the fucking 90s when he still had good writing.
Yeah.
And one of my cousin's kids I was talking about, why did Venom over Spider-Man? No, Spider-Man doesn't kill anybody. Venom kills left, right, and centre.
Well, that's because
Venom's killing innocent people as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's cool.
Yeah, Venom and then Carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed recently a lot of people have been into Stockholm Syndrome lately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you go check out the Far Cry 3 community on Tumblr. Well, at least when it started, they just gave everyone Stockholm Syndrome, and I was like, you're weird.
It was like, if you look at
that was really good, though.
Things are regressing, and it seems to be aiming more toward not only social justice, but, I mean, a frame of mind that just isn't healthy.
Oh, yeah, it's an infantile frame of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 47 years old. I want to enjoy stuff like Wolverine, for example. Mm-hmm. But you can't anymore because they went and revealed his past, which kills all the mystery to the character. It leaves nothing left to the imagination. And they, now they have a rule where they won't let him be smoking a cigar.
What?
And that's just not Wolverine.
No.
Wolverine's character, summed up pretty succinctly, is he's a badass and he knows it.
Yeah.
And he's short.
Exactly. Sorry. And Wolverine.
Go ahead.
And Wolverine, when I talk about Wolverine to people, he's this badass guy, but he's also really tortured. And when they revealed his backstory, it kind of took away from that.
Yeah, it lessened it.
Mm-hmm. Originally,
it's like, oh great, another guy with daddy issues.
Originally, Wolverine was a 2-dimensional character, and he was a dickhead.
Yeah,
and they fleshed him out. But Mad Metal Man in the chat there says Venom is an anti-hero. Maybe he's now, but he wasn't. He used to just be a psychotic killer. Wolverine, as he became, was an anti-hero.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Well,
But
so was the Punisher.
I think, it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad when
Punisher is my favorite Marvel character.
It's sad when, in order to see a really good storyline from characters that were created in the United States, you have to see the anime version of the shows, because the anime version of Wolverine was excellent. The anime version of Iron Man was excellent. Even the anime version of the X-Men was absolutely excellent in the way it was executed, in the way it was drawn, in the storyline.
Actually, Maddie, I can explain that one too. It's because when Japanese people, apparently when they find a hero they like, they try to stick as faithfully to what made the character in the first fucking place as they possibly can.
Yeah, it seems like here we'll take a hero like Wolverine, and the first question anyone asks is, okay, now how can we spin him to be about our agenda? We should make Wolverine gay.
Of course.
I know.
We should make Wolverine a pacifist.
We'll make him a female clown.
Well, they already made Iceman gay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing worse than a guy made of ice complaining about a bad blowjob.
And the funny thing is,
I have to admit that with Wolverine, it was already bad enough when they took away his adamantium, but at least they did it in a story context where Magneto had finally crossed the line, and Wolverine was the easiest character for them to use without actually offing anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's like
But they.
Go ahead, Magnus.
No, I was going to say, but at least in like the next issue, it's like, Professor X sees him pull all the adamantium out through Wolverine's skin, and that drives Charles Xavier over the edge, and he shut down Magneto's mind. Yeah. Well, in the next issue, they didn't just off Wolverine. They kept him alive, but they at least added the dramatic tension of, he's almost gone, and what pulls him back is something happened to the plane, and Jean Grey almost flew out the door, and he's the one that caught her and saved her.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the thing about Iceman being turned gay, from what I've read, it's also the way they did it. It was Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gay. No, I'm not. I like women. And she uses her mind powers on him to turn him fucking gay.
Yeah, she brain rapes him.
Yeah.
It's like when I used to collect comic books. This is why I'm very apprehensive of the new Avengers movie that's coming up and stuff. Is I read the Infinity Gauntlet, okay, and Wolverine has always been one of my favorite characters. Not the favorite character of mine, but one of my favorite characters. And in the moment where Thanos snaps his fingers, and every single bone in Wolverine's body disappears. And then when he recovers from that because of his healing factor, you see the apprehension in his reaction when everybody goes, well, we've got to try this again. And he's essentially like, well, I've already tried. I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
Because he was shaken.
Right.
And it's that kind of writing that needs to come back. It's that kind of, depth and twist to storylines and characters that you need in order for things to be compelling, in order for you to want to, to see that next episode or pick up that next comic book in the series.
Well,
the Trial of Galactus.
And what was so beautiful about that, though, Maddie, is the fact that Wolverine's normally not afraid of shit.
No.
And to see that in him in that context, you're like, oh.
You're like, you're like, you're stuck going, oh damn.
Yeah.
There's one thing which pisses me off. It's especially prevalent in modern films. Is you get the guy pulls this gun on the character, and it's usually a woman, and she's, get that gun out of my face before I tear your arm. No, somebody pulls a gun on you like that. I don't care who you are. You're going to be frightened, and you're going to show that you're frightened.
Yeah.
Not always.
Generally, especially in the context which it usually is, because it's usually a supposedly ordinary woman.
Yeah.
When they get this gun pulled.
Oh yeah, supposedly ordinary woman's not gonna.
Yeah.
She's gonna find her silence. Let's say.
Yeah. Yep.
You sure? I've never seen that.
Oh, you would if you pulled a gun on him.
I think the problem with translating comic books, now we're getting off the animated stuff for at least the last 15 minutes of the show. The problem with translating comic books into live action or animated series into live action is you have two groups of people that are going to go see this movie. The people that don't know any of the canon, have never seen any of the cartoons, animated series, read any of the comic books, and the people who have.
Yeah.
And it's generally the people who have that are going to be, paying out to see it first, to see nowadays how they fucked it up.
Yep.
Because there's
I've got to admit though, when it comes to like Spider-Man: Homecoming, yeah, I've got my issues with that. But I went there and I watched it, and to be perfectly honest, I enjoyed it because I don't really want to see something which I've read 1,000 times. I want to see something new, done with that character, which is what they provided me.
Yeah.
But one thing that annoys me about people who they've never read the comics before, and all I know about it is they've seen the movies, particularly with the Thor movies, and they come away thinking they know everything.
Yeah.
And they will argue you. Oh, Thor's not a god; he's a space. No,
He's an alien.
Yeah, that's just in the films. In the comics, he is actually a god.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the only comic book movie that's come out in the last couple of years that I've really super enjoyed, Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, that was
awesome.
Ryan Reynolds had to fight to get that movie made the way it was supposed to be.
I remember when it leaked on Tumblr.
But that was the thing about Deadpool was you could tell they at least tried to stay faithful to the original character.
I think that was because of Ryan Reynolds, because the first hurdle the movie before it even got to pre-production was the producers didn't want to put in the fact that he had that fourth wall awareness, and everybody was bitching, and with good cause, that you cannot have a Deadpool without that fourth wall awareness. Because
no, you can't.
The one thing that makes him likable is he knows he's a comic book character.
If they ever do a She-Hulk movie.
For those who have seen Deadpool, you're going to get what I'm saying. But that was what made that one scene so great, where he goes, where he's talking about his roommate, and then he goes, a fourth wall break within a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
Maddie, Magnus, the She-Hulk. If they ever did a She-Hulk, if I ever did a She-Hulk movie, I would do it true to how she was in her heyday. I mean, she knew about the fourth wall. She could actually use it to her advantage by going places by jumping across panels. One of the things I would do in a She-Hulk movie is I would sometimes show the cameras and the boom mic and shit like that, because she'd be able to.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to stay true to the characters, or at least the canon, as much as possible. I mean, you can't be.
Yep.
You have to have enough there for the comic book geeks to go, okay, yeah, that was a good movie, and I can see why they did it this way. But the problem that DC is having, and we've discussed this several times in the Discord, is they don't know how to stick with one storyline in a movie.
Well, they don't understand the concept of escalation.
Nope.
No.
You don't start with General Zod.
They also
build up to General Zod.
Yeah, they also don't understand something else, Mitch. Consequences aren't just there for the bad guys.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been good to see.
Something else I don't understand is not every bad guy is the Joker.
Yeah.
Even though his name is Lex Luthor, he's not the Joker.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Hold
I
on,
did.
Pancras.
Okay.
If you watch Man of Steel, I can understand why they threw General Zod in at the very beginning. Was to kind of establish, okay, this is what happened just before
Krypton blew up.
Yeah.
Krypton.
Yeah.
You always have to start a Superman story with that, but you're right. They probably needed to scale the bad guy back just a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing I did like about the end of Man of Steel, when he snapped Zod's neck, it's a scream. That was a scream of somebody who's done something, to his mind, is utterly repellent, horrific, and totally alien to his true
Yeah,
nature.
that scream was pure anguish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want to have to, but he had no choice.
Yeah, pure anguish and horror.
Yeah, and again, you had to explain to people that were complaining about that scene in the movie. You know, Superman doesn't do that. No, Superman doesn't do that. That's why when he has to do that, you see the anguish, you hear it, and you feel it.
He's killed quite a few times in the comics. So is Batman.
Yeah,
it's something these fanboys refuse to admit.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Man of Steel, that whole interaction between Clark and his father, Jonathan, when Clark asks, should I have let this busload of kids die? And when Jonathan says, maybe, he's not suggesting that Clark does that. He's basically saying, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know the bit in Man of Steel.
I don't know why people couldn't figure that out for themselves. You have to fucking take them by the hand. And it's because they've been coddled by bad cartoons for 20 years.
Which is why you're seeing these videos that explain the endings of films on YouTube. Endings which are fucking simple to understand.
Well, I mean, not only endings, you have to, like Anime Everyday did. He literally did. It was little more than a half an hour. He broke down the symbolism in the original Ghost in the Shell movie. And, you know, when you get to that point that you have to break down all the nuances of a movie because of its symbolism, you're realizing where we've come to as a society where people can't do that for themselves. At least the majority can't. Because, you know, most people just watch a movie to get entertainment out of it, and they don't look for a deeper meaning. When sometimes in those movies, just sometimes, there is a deeper meaning, and if you don't catch it, you miss the whole point.
Come on, gotta pee.
Okay.
Well, yeah, like look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay, you know what they've managed to do there. You know what that really is? That's a live-action cartoon.
Yeah.
That whole universe is a live-action cartoon, and it's done fairly well most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining and it's fun. And you know going in, you're gonna have to turn your brain off a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I would have liked to have done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Avengers? I would like to have a scene like where the main characters are like talking in the foreground, and in the background you've got, let's say, Stanley doing one of his cameos where he's coming in and he's like cleaning up the place. And he's cleaning up the coffee table and he picks Thor's hammer up and cleans underneath it and puts it down again.
You know what I liked was the look on Thor's face when Rogers budged the hammer.
Oh yeah.
Because the first time he picked it up, it moved, and you saw the look on Thor's face like, oh shit.
And you saw the look on Rogers' face as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Chris Evans, I keep saying this when it comes even to fucking Human Torch, but especially Steve Rogers, he has owned that character because even in the most recent one, he still acts like a man from the 40s in the way he talks, the way he moves as well, body language.
Well, Mitch and I were discussing that and how the fact that every superhero team has to have a balance or a voice of conscience. And for the Avengers, it is Steve Rogers. Yeah. It is the I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. You know, because he's still grounded. And in that, you know, when we watched, I believe it was the Age of Ultron when they were supposed to sign that accord, you know,
that was actually the Sokovia Accords that was Captain America Civil War.
Thank you. Yeah. Civil War. I think, and I told Mitch this, that he came at it from thinking of an old soldier. I signed my life away once, I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
And this is basically what you're doing if you sign this accord. You know,
pretty much, yeah.
You know, and I saw that, and it's like all of us here probably caught that, but how many people watching the movie didn't understand what exactly he was saying?
Well, it was another thing as well, Maddie. It was basically weaponizing people with abilities who just want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's very much a case of, you know, the best defense against a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Captain America was talking about.
Yeah.
Or that's at least a part of it.
Yeah.
And when he said the safest hands are still our own, and he's right. People have to be responsible for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Which this society is like. A lot of these people don't have agency. They don't have that awareness to assume that responsibility when they know they fucked up.
Right. Well, I forgot what I was going to say, but go ahead, Batman.
They're bringing out an interesting wrinkle in DC with the whole Doomsday Clock and the Watchmen thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's this conspiracy going around that all the metahumans, because of the American government's research, because there's a shit ton more metahumans in the United States than there is anywhere else. I mean, obviously, from our perspective, it's because the superhero comic book industry is based in the United States.
Well, hello, Hunley.
They're pushing that idea into the DC universe and trying to explain it that way, which is clever.
Yeah. Well, then, conversely, they're also trying to complain too much about certain characters in the DC universe because they're like, oh my god, the Batman movies are so dark. There's a reason for that.
Because he's Batman.
Because he's, and you're like, well, you can't have a Batman that's so dark and then Superman with these bright. Yes, you can, because that's what Superman, in all of his symbolism, is the hope. He embodies hope. And the spirit of America and, the American way.
He is Jesus.
Well, it's not just the American
Space
way.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. He symbolizes all the good, like a Captain America. He symbolizes all the values and virtues and ideals that Western civilization aspires to.
Yeah.
Now, they're both not. Neither of them are heroes. They're ideals, to aspire to.
Yep. And you know what I want to see? I want to see them do a faithful to canon live-action movie of the Spectre.
What? The Spectre.
The Spectre. He was a DC character that actually killed people on a regular basis. He was kind of like the Spirit of Vengeance, but I thought he was kind of cooler.
Yeah, he was the spirit of God's vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
He still is. He's a cosmic level character. I think he'd be too big to have a TV show going, really.
I was going to say, you guys were talking about Superman. I was going to say that Superman's the all-American hero.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, if he was just the all-American hero, he wouldn't be as popular as he is the world over. Just like Captain America.
In Civil War, the Avengers weren't so much made the villains, Miss T. It's that it just came down to the fact that they didn't think they were going to be able to get their point across unless they didn't fight.
Yeah. And it was a good fight.
Yeah, it was.
It was a fun fight.
Yeah. And again, it took
that's what it really comes down to. Mm-hmm. The Marvel movies are more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're very, 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 very fun.
Yes.
Like I don't know. And now with Disney buying 20th Century Fox, we now can have Deadpool show up in the Marvel universe.
Yes.
Yep.
You know why?
Whereas the DC movies are depressing.
Yeah.
They are.
You know why Superman entrusted that kryptonite ring to Batman? It's because he's been lying all of these years. Kryptonite has no effect on him whatsoever.
Huh.
Horseshit.
Yeah.
Well, the thing between the dynamic between Batman and Superman,
it's light and dark.
Yes, you have to have that contrast in a movie with the two of them in it because that's what's going to make it work.
And it works. It comes from real life, that, because they're very similar, but they're very different as well. And that's what you find when you see people who are close friends. They're usually quite dissimilar.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, you got to see with Civil War, you got to see the ramifications of what happens when somebody uses their superpowers and they go out of control. Because when Scarlet Witch did what she did and people were injured and things were devastated, they weren't looking at the good that came out of it. They were looking at the devastation that was caused.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other part about that whole scenario that bothers me. Everyone was so quick and so willing to blame the Avengers. I mean, right from the end of the Avengers movie when they did all the news clips. Someone's got to answer for the damage. Yeah, how about the bad guys? How about the guys who initiated the illegal act?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mitch, you've obviously read the Civil War comics, right?
A bit, not in any great detail, and not for a long time.
The whole reason behind the superhero registration thing in the Civil War comics was a lot more believable. It was this low-level superhero group who were doing a reality show, and they come across some bad guys who they couldn't really handle. One of them was Nitro, the guy who can explode.
Oh yeah, and Nitro exploded that town in Connecticut.
Yeah, and that's what started it all.
Yeah. That's what got the public clamoring for superhero registration.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and hop off and stare at the back of my eyelids for a while. So.
All right. You have a good sleep, Magnus.
All right.
Magnus, I hope you like the tattoo I put on the inside of your eyelids when you weren't looking.
Their penises.
If it's not a naked lady, I'll have to track you down and kill you.
You're probably going to track us down and kill us.
No, it's an advertisement for Marmite.
And on that note, I believe we're going to end the stream. This has been Coffee Talk, reminiscing about animation and what has happened to it through the years. And I've been here with Magnus Deacon,
Woohoo.
the Batman,
Be safe out there.
Mitch the Ripper,
And I'll form the head.
Chris Burton.
Thanks for having me on, Maddie.
No problem. Trana May,
That's all, folks.
Callie.
Oh, well played.
I'm playing Pokemon.
Poke
We
your what?
also had Ronan and a plastic walnut
Pokemon.
along the way.
Apparently-
Next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to reminisce about old sitcoms.
I love Lucy.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, and
there's one.
Sounds really fun.
God.
and how they've changed throughout the years. So yeah, because Friday's coffee talks are going to be a little lighthearted to end, the week on a light note. So we're going to find different geeky topics to talk about. So next week's going to be sitcoms.
You just reminded me. I could have one cartoon there, which I can mention next week as well. Wait till your father gets home.
Wait till your father gets home. And on that note,
He never came home.
Your line.
Yes, he did.
You're blowing your
What?
Oh yes, sing that time. Sing
Oh, God.
that time. And if you're not there, I'll find you.
Whether it's coffee or tea, thank you for sitting with me, and I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Have a good evening, everybody.